Greetings, planty people, and welcome back to my jungle. So, today's video is all about plant alternatives and plant dupes, if you will. And I thought I would do this video because there are a lot of plants out there that have almost a better alternative depending on what plant it is. So I've got a lovely little list down here, done lots of research, and most of this is from personal experience as well, so I can give you my 2 cents on said plants. And hello, if you're new here, I am Jules and I have probably over 200 plants now. I have stopped counting. So let's get into it. So I'll put the alternative plant here and the normal plant here. Philodendron scandens variegata is one of those plants that I've only recently just had, and they still are going for a pretty penny. I managed to get a good deal on my cutting, but it took the longest time to root, so it was a little bit nerve-wracking. And I think it's basically identical to the Epipremna Marble Queen. Like, you can't tell me that's not similar. I found so far that the Marble Queen is 10 times easier to propagate. Like, it will probably root in about a week, and you probably have a 90% chance that it will all work out and it won't rot. Whereas my Philodendron scandens variegata, I think it took a good 2 months to even show a tiny bit of root. It was just in water for the longest time, and I was just like, It was getting to the point where the leaf was starting to get a bit crusty, and I was like, oh no. But then suddenly it started rooting and I was like, I can breathe again now. This is why I don't buy a lot of rare plant cuttings, because it's just, I get so anxious. Okay, next one was a really good discovery for me, because if you know me, string of pearls, we're not friends. I've tried 3 times. I know the key to it now. I've done some research and I've talked to a lot of plant people on TikTok about it. The key is really bright sunlight, and I only water it like once a month, if that. Whereas I'm a tad of an overwaterer, and I've had to kind of brainwash that out of me because I just overlove my plants and I get really excited. So string of pearls is not the one for me. But I found the peperomia so much easier. So this is peperomia pepper spot. Now I know they're not identical. They're not actually a sphere like a bean. They're more of like a little button almost. But when you have it hanging down on a high shelf, it looks very similar. Just a bit bigger really. And these ones, very affordable, very easy to find, and so much easier. Because it's peperomia, you only need to water it like every 2 weeks-ish. And bright indirect light, beautiful. I've got mine to grow like this long, and I've even given it a few haircuts. It's just so easy, and I think it's beautiful. It's one of those plants that I think not a lot of people know of or realise how adorable it is. So if you struggle with string of pearls, get yourself a peperomia pepper spot. That's really hard to say. Try saying that 3 times. Peperomia pepper spot, peperomia pepper spot. No, fail. And if you do get on with string of pearls, let me know your secrets. Spill. Okay, next one I'm very passionate about as well, because I actually do love both, but if you can't find a Philodendron melanochrysum, just get yourself a micans, and I will show you an example why. Okay, so I know, I'm aware that this needs to be trimmed and propped, but so this is a Philodendron micans. Now you're probably thinking, whoa, man, I've never seen anyone grow up a pole before. I mean, you might have, but who knows? But I grew up a pole because I was struggling to find a melanochrysum, and I had a cutting off a friend, but it didn't make it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to grow it up, because in the wild, they're epiphytes. They like to grow up things. And got myself a big pole, which I had to walk through a town centre with, and people moved out the way. I felt powerful. But this, it loves it. It's all the way up here. I can't really show you, it's just off camera, but you can tell how big these leaves are getting. Like, look at that. That's bigger than my melanochrysum leaves, and they can even get bigger. So if you struggle to find them, I'll move you back. Get yourself a Philodendron micans, because they are so much cheaper. And I found they grow a lot quicker as well, and they're easier to propagate. The only differences really are that a melanochrysum has a brighter stripe down the middle, and they have thicker stems, and I think they have like different sheath situations. I'm not a scientist. It goes for basically any trailing plant. If you give it a pole and get it to grow up, it will give you so much bigger leaves, and it'll be so happy, so happy. Okay, next one. is a bit of a different one. So a long time ago, probably like a year ago now, a little bit less than a year, I got myself a little tiny baby Whippleway philodendron. I think I've said philodendron so much now, my brain's not working. A Whippleway philodendron. And this beauty, just look at it, it looks like a strawberry milkshake. It's beautiful. Mine's only tiny, but when it gets bigger, I will be staring at it every single day of my life. Because it's one of those sought after, uncommon, slightly rare, not botanically rare, but you know what I mean, plants, they're quite expensive. So I had this tiny baby that's this big, and I think that was like £20, maybe a little bit more. I was a bit like, eee. But I found a slightly more affordable version. So this is the Philodendron Snowdrift, and they're very similar. I get them mixed up, to be honest. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, just got edged by a sneeze. So if you want yourself a lovely pastel pinky whitey philodendron and you don't want to spend too much but you don't mind spending a little bit, I'd go for the Snowdrift personally, because the Whippleway is really hard to find. The price has come down a little bit over time, but they're still not cheap. Okay, next one is really cool. So I recently have gotten into Anthurium. I've got Clarinervium, Crystallinum, another one somewhere, and they're weirdly hard to get in person, and most of the time I like to see the plant in person, unless I'm desperate and I really want it online. But with Anthurium, I just really want to see it, you know what I mean? So I haven't really bought many. I don't think I've ever bought one online, to be honest with you. And I found a really good dupe for the Anthurium Crystallinum Silver Blush. Beautiful. Now this one has come down in price a lot, but if you're a little, you know, a little bit wary of getting an Anthurium, they seem a bit scary, but they're actually not as hard as you think. Get yourself a Peperomia. Now I'm going to struggle to say this. Sarcophila, I think that's how you pronounce it. And as you can see, they're pretty similar, but Peperomia are known for being very easy because they're semi-succulent. You only need to water them like every 2 weeks or so. And this one, surprisingly thirsty. Don't know why. And the good thing with Peperomia, you will definitely get more leaves. As you can tell, there's not many leaves on this. Now please do excuse the scuff leaves, I am clumsy. So if you want yourself a more affordable version, get yourself a Peperomia. Peperomias are super easy. Just give it bright light, water it every 2 weeks. I know I've said that already, but it's true. I just think Peperomia deserve more love. I think they're super cool, super underrated. I'm just amazed how similar it looks. Just beautiful. Okay, next one, Monstera Albo dupe. Okay, so these have been quite popular, especially over lockdown. Do you remember that? That was crazy. They are still not massively cheap, not gonna lie to you. They've come down in price significantly. I understand that even the price that they are now, most people don't really want to spend that. I mean, you can get some really good deals on Facebook Market and stuff, but I don't really look on there because I feel like that would be dangerous for me. But if you want a more affordable version, get yourself an Epipremnum pinnatum variegata. Ta-da! And I know what you're thinking, they look completely different, but once they're mature and you grow up a pole, they get fenestrations. I know. Even golden pothos do as well. I think all of the Epipremnum do. So cool. So if you get yourself a pole like I did with my micans and you grow it up, you will have fenestrations in no time. And the good thing with Epipremnum, they grow so much faster and they propagate like a dream. And those guys have also come down in price a lot recently, I've noticed. So get yourself one of those. If you're a little bit wary about getting a Monstera, you won't regret it. So I think that concludes the list. I need to do more research on other plants as well, plant dupes and alternatives. So let me know if you've got any good suggestions down below. I will have a lovely little look. And if you want to see me on other platforms, I have TikTok and Instagram. I'll leave that down below as well. And if you want a 10% off Grow Gang, I also have a code down below for you to check out. I hope you have a lovely day, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Blah, 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 blah.